See you too. How are you?
Doing great.
Good.
Saw your pants going at.
Hello.
Yeah, I do. I appreciate it. Let's talk more about it.
All right, ready? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the October 18th, 2022 meeting of the Irmo Town Council. Are we ready to go, Mia? Ready to go. Okay. Thank you. I'm going to start by doing the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation. Would y'all please stand with me? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear Lord, thank you for this council and for the great things that we do for the town of Irmo and the surrounding areas. And also, thank you for allowing us to be a part of this great community and have people that serve on different committees in different aspects of this community. We pray for the family of Miss Barbara Wilm, who was a longtime supporter of the Irmo Orchestra and Lexington Medical Center. And I also pray for the family of Councilman Jim DeWitt, who passed away last week from Atlantic Beach. He was a member of the Municipal Association. I met him this past July in Charleston. Him and his wife was murdered tragically last week. With all those things I do say in your name, we do pray that you will bring us through this and bring us all together even better. In your name, amen. Thank you. Thank you. Reading of the minutes from September 20th, 2022. We received those electronically. Is there a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
From September 20th.
I'll second.
Is there a second? Okay. And is there any changes to the minutes that we received electronically? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have prevailed. The minutes from October 4th, 2022, that was the workshop, we received those electronically. Is there a motion to accept those minutes?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
And are there any changes for those minutes that we had from October 4th? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have prevailed. Standing reports. Administrative briefing. We received our administrative briefing from Mr. Dennis. Do we have any changes for Mr. Dennis from the administrative briefing? I don't see none. Is there any changes for the council?
No, sir.
Thank you very much. You must have did a great job of giving us all the background we needed, and I appreciate that very much. Thank you. Newtown businesses. Mr. Sickinger, do we have any Newtown businesses in the town of Irmo?
We do, Mr. Mayor. Homeowners Mortgage LLC, Poor House Furnishings, Blush Aesthetics, Roy's Barbecue and Grill, and Infancia Woods Preschool. Welcome to the town.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any amendments to the agenda? Seeing none. Consideration and communications, we have several. I'd like to start with the recognition of the business of the month. If y'all would join me down front. Hello, hello. Hey.
Thank you. I noticed y'all didn't try to say my name. That's good.
Oh, I got to say your name, so.
Right here?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Miss White Warren Scarambolo. Did I say it right? All right. She's a CPA in the town of Irmo. I've been in the town of Irmo for several years. I want to give you this plaque in recognition of being a small business of the month for the town of Irmo for the month of October 2022. Congratulations, Ms. Irmo. Do you you want to tell us a few things about your business?
Sure. I am a CPA. I've been a sole proprietor for about 7 years, and most of my clients are small businesses, which I like to serve in this area. And we're really busy during tax season.
I can imagine. Well, again, thank you and congratulations on being the Business of the Month for October 2022.
Thank you for the opportunity.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Okay, school showcase. Dr. Wallman, you want to tell us about our school showcase?
Yes, Mayor Walker. Tonight we have with us Principal Jason Pollock from H.E. Corley Elementary School Leadership Magnet and Montessori Magnet, and he has a few other guests with him. They will tell us about H.E. Corley tonight.
Good evening. Thank you for having us here. I have with me my wonderful assistant principal, Ms. Harris, and one of our wonderful students, Ms. Aria Allen. She's a third grade Montessori student at H.E. Corley. I could sit here, I know I have a few minutes, I could talk about the greatness of H.E. Corley all night long, but I know you don't want to stay here all night long, and my bedtime is 8:30 anyway. So, not to prolong. In our slideshow that we provided here, I got just a quick bit of information about the things that are happening at H.E. Corley. So we'll go to the next slide. It's all good. Well, as you know, we are a proud Title I school nestled in the middle of Friarsgate. We are right in the hub. I grew up in Irmo, and I saw H.E. Corley as it was being built when I was in 6th grade. And I was thinking how wonderful the school is right in the middle of a neighborhood. I wish I could go there one day. Well, I'm there now, so it's all working out. We serve from preschool all the way up to 5th grade. We have 570 students, so we have 3-year-olds all the way up to 5th grade. It's a lot of crying on that 3-year-old hall, but they're getting acclimated in how to get into school, how to be in the school. So we have a lot of fun with them. H.E. Corley is the only elementary school in District 5 that has 2 magnets within the building. We have our leadership magnet and our Montessori magnet. Our leadership magnet, we teach and incorporate leadership in everything that we do throughout the school. And our Montessori magnet, which Ms. Aria is part of, it's a school within a school, so these students follow that Montessori track and the beliefs of Maria Montessori all the way through. We have about 104 dedicated staff that are absolutely amazing and just love children. And our biggest thing at H.E. Corley is we pride ourselves on building relationships, not with just our students, not with just our families, but the community as well. We want everyone, we always say it takes a village. And I want everyone to be a part of our village. And I thank you for having us here tonight so we could just show you what we're doing. Our next slide. So this is what we're committed to. This is what we say we're going to do at H.E. Corley. Our vision statement, our vision at H.E. Corley Elementary Leadership Magnet, School Leadership Magnet and Montessori Magnet is to foster relationships that encourage the academic, social, emotional, and physical development of the whole child. We are focused on our whole child. We want to take care of every aspect of students. Our lifelong learners will have the self-direction and integrity to make positive impact on this society. I am from this community, and I want our students to come back and make an impact on the community just like I've had the opportunity to do. So our mission, how do we go about doing this? We will empower students to lead and learn from experience and to apply that knowledge for the good of self and others through collaborative teamwork. We want to preach and teach working together. We know that we are in this community. We are in a utopia of students. We have a very diverse population, which I am so happy to have. So let's work together and make this community much better. Next slide. A few things that we've been able to celebrate. H.E. Corley has been named a certified magnet school, recognized by Magnet Schools of America. We met all the criteria as a magnet school to be certified as a magnet school. It's a huge celebration. We've also were awarded the Magnet School of America National Award of Merit School of Excellence. We've been named a School of Excellence by MSA. H.E. Coley has also been certified and recertified as a Lighthouse School through the Leader in Me program, meaning that we have met all the criteria through the Leader in Me program to earn Lighthouse status. Thanks to Ms. Harris, who did a lot of that writing on that. I helped out, but she did most of that writing. And lastly, our Special Olympics. We participate every year in the polar plunge. Anybody want to come and do that with me, you are more than welcome. It is very cold in Lake Murray during January, February. So, but we had the most participants of any school in the area, and we were named the Coolest School Award. Next slide.
Thank you. Our leadership and Montessori magnets have both been very successful over the last few years. We've been a leadership magnet for about 13 years, where we incorporate the 7 habits of Stephen Covey. All of our students know our habits. Our teachers embedded in what they are teaching, and we totally live and breathe the 7 habits of Stephen Covey. We teach our students to make goals, to track their goals, to track their progress towards the goals, and then, of course, to celebrate when they have accomplished those goals. And our motto for our leadership magnet is leading and learning for life. Like Mr. Pollock said, we definitely want leaders and learners for life. Our Montessori magnet is a child-centered philosophy in which our students kind of take charge of their learning, and they use different manipulatives to learn through the discovery and things like that. It's a different philosophy. It looks a little bit different than our traditional classrooms, but nevertheless, it has been very, very successful over the last 6 years. We're actually one of the only oversubscribed magnets in School District 5 in the elementary level, meaning that we always have a waiting list and we have students and families wanting to be a part of it. We have that particular program has multi-age groupings, so we start at age 4, and so we have our 4-year-olds and our kindergartners together, and then our next group goes up to 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade, and then we're growing our program where we have 4th graders, and next year we'll have 5th graders together. So it's really awesome that they get to learn from each other. I know you've heard Mr. Pollock and I talk a lot about how great H.E. Corley is, but we like to let our students tell the story as well. So Miss Allen, Aria Allen, 3rd grade Montessori student, will tell us about the best thing about H.E. Corley Elementary School.
Definitely the best thing about H.E. Corley is definitely the staff and administration and all the teachers, because if we did not have them, the school would be just so different, because all the work that our staff and administration people and the teachers, that all the work that they put in makes the school so much of a better place.
Somebody's getting free Chick-fil-A. And last slide, this is just our social media. Please follow us on social media. During COVID, we learned that we couldn't have people in the building, so we had to show what the greatness that we're doing inside. That's the way we got it outside. It's being able to show it through social media. So please follow us, see what's happening, see what our kids are doing, and thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you. I got a quick question for you, Principal. Are you allowing people to come back and visit the school live now?
Yes, we're wide open. If you want to come and volunteer, come and read. I know, Mayor Walker, you've been there and played for us, and we greatly appreciate that, and that's a great memory our students have. So anytime you guys, anyone, want to come and volunteer, we have a volunteer process, but we'd love to have you in front of our students, especially being in the community, to see who's in our community.
Thank you.
I got a quick question. Can we just pop in?
Yes, sir. We have our check-in system up front, and if you want to just walk around, take a tour of the building, if one of our administrators is around, we would definitely be obliged to do that.
Yeah, there are great things going on there. I pass the school 20 times a day, probably, and it's one of the few places I'm always very careful and very slow when I drive
Yes,
by
please.
there. It doesn't matter what time of day it is, but my hat's off to y'all.
Yes.
It was a challenge just to get me out of 5th grade. And you got these leaders and these programs that these kids are just, you know, it's tremendous. You're doing a great job. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Fantastic. Artist of the Month. We have a new Artist of the Month, Ms. Trish Gilliam. And as you can see some of her artwork displayed there, it will be on display in Town Hall, I encourage you to stop by Town Hall, not just to fuss at us, but to look at some of the great artwork we have on the wall and that we have displayed in Town Hall. I also like to mention that for the last 2 years, we have been locked down with COVID, and the town put together some alternative trick-or-treating ideas. We had the movies in the park, we had the movies at the car dealership, and also we tried to be safe as we could during COVID. But tonight, I am hearing that COVID is not over. We still have variants out there that will get you, but we have treatments now. We didn't have treatments 2 years ago. We didn't have a vaccine 2 years ago. I encourage everybody who wants to get a vaccine to get it. I encourage all the kids that want to go trick-or-treating to do that. And in that regard, the Harbison Community Center Association will have at the center their 9th annual trick-or-treat trail, which will be on Saturday, October 29th from 2 to 4 p.m. at Lakewood Cross at the 95 Woodcross Drive in Harbison. And it's on their website. You can look it up on Harbison Community Association website. But that's just one example of the new normal trick-or-treating things we're going to have in the community. And I encourage you guys to let's get back to being the new normal. Let's get back to doing things in the community and going out and having fun, and the kids get as much candy as you can so your mom can eat it and not give it to you and be sugared up to go to school the next day. So I just want to really reach out to y'all. Reach out to y'all to really, let's get back to the new normal safely. And I encourage you to go to this trick-or-treating event or any other year-round. Any other receipt of communications? Anybody else have that? Okay, we're going to move right on then. Presentation by citizens for agenda items. Nobody signed up, but is there anybody who has second thoughts? Oh, I see a hand out there. Where's that music? Da-da-da-da. Come on. Let's talk to me. Introduce yourself. Tell me who you are. And what item would you like to discuss on the agenda? Thank you.
My name is Dawn Halterwanger, and I'm at 23 Muskrat Run. And for the record, I just want to make sure this is clear on ordinance 2231, that which y'all are voting on tonight is just the 9 acres to be going from fringe agricultural to commercial office, and not the 16 acres, since it's still one tax number. Because when we got the agenda, the map is kind of misleading. It looks like the whole 30 acres is being zoned commercial office. So that's my question. And I know y'all had a workshop about 2 weeks ago, and I know that was discussed about dividing that property up into 3 parcels, but there's no minutes online, and 6 o'clock is sometimes hard for some of us to get here who live in that area. So we're kind of curious is it the whole entire 30 acres that is going to be rezoned as commercial office, or is it just the non-pertaining for the storage units and the commercial?
We'll address that when we get to that, okay?
Okay, I just want to make sure before we get to the readings, because I know it's the final reading. All right, thank you.
Anybody else? Come on down. Give us your name and address for the record, please.
Wayne Meyer, 213 Blue Indigo Circle. And I'd like to speak to unfinished business, agenda item A, ordinance 2231, the rezoning of, it currently says the 30 acres to commercial office from fringe agriculture.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, Council, appreciate this opportunity again. Spoke last month when the vote was postponed. I don't want to go through all of that again. I know you heard what I had to say about having a plan, and your current plan still says this is going to stay agricultural. I was reminded on the way over here, saw 3 deer in the field coming down Irmo Drive. Without space for our animals, our environment is just being gobbled up for things. I'm a mapping person by trade, so I went out and looked, and just searched for storage units near me, wow, there are a lot of storage units already in this area. There's a new one going on in being built on the Helping Hands Nursery on Broad River Road. And I would just ask you to consider, is that really the direction right now that fits the plan for the town going forward? And I'm a positive person by nature, so I was a little bit disappointed when there was a meeting with the community, Ballantyne Community Association, and the word that came out of it was, well, if this isn't approved, Mr. Green is just going to slap 9 trailers there, and this is going to be a trailer park, and as if there's something wrong with people that live in trailers. And that just hit me because I know a lot of people that live in trailers, and to say something like, well, if you don't vote for this and we're going to build this really nice thing, then it's going to be slapped full of trailers and you'll regret it. And I just found that to be a little disconcerting, that it's kind of being threatened that if we don't approve this, if you don't approve this, then something else really negative is going to happen. And I hate that that gets wrapped up in this. And I just ask you to consider your current plan, the fact that we have a lot of storage units already, and is it best serve the people in the community of the town to have more storage units? Thank you.
Okay. Did anybody go to that Valentine meeting? You went there? What, was that something we were supposed to be at? No. Oh, okay. I didn't know about it either. Okay. No worries. I was just wondering because anybody else? Anybody else to talk about agenda items? Okay. Seeing none, we're going to move right on then. Second and final reading, unfinished business. Second and final reading of ordinance 2231. Is there a motion for second and final reading? Is there a motion for second and final reading of ordinance 2231? I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. It's been moved in second. This is to rezone 30 acres, which is, you see there in blue, to the CO, but we have an amendment to this, Wallman? Or Bill? Oh, sorry. We have an amendment, or you want me to make that?
It's fine. I'll make it.
Okay. Well, I have an amendment to make to this ordinance where it reads 30 acres right now, which is what we were originally going to be voting on. I'd like to make a motion to amend this from 30 acres to the 8.94 acres with a new tax map number of R03203-0602, which is the part on the bottom, which is blue, just the bottom part of that. Do you have the other slide, Mia? Courtney, where's the slide that we have on our agenda?
That is the slide that came with.
This slide.
With the bottom half.
Yeah,
It's not in the slide deck.
but I mean, it's the one we got sent to us in our,
That's not the one that was sent in your admin briefing packet.
which one was sent then? Why do I have it?
It's all blue.
Well, I know, but that's why do I have this then? Oops, sorry. That.
That could have been from last reading.
That's what I got. I mean, that's what I've been looking at. Any rate, the part that we're talking about rezoning is the bottom half, which is 8.94 acres, where that little asterisk is. The top part is where we're gonna leave it as fringe agricultural.
Can you give the tax number one more time?
Okay, there's 3 tax numbers. The bottom where the asterisk is tax map number R03203-0602. The part that's staying fringe agriculture, which is on top, is R02-203-0301. That's what it is now. That's what it's staying. Okay? They separated into three different tax map numbers. So I'm amending this ordinance to reflect the new tax map number for the 8.9 acres. So that's my amendment. Is there a second for that?
I'll second that.
Okay, is there any discussion on that I explained? Any more discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk read a roll on the amendment?
Mr. Bush?
No.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Okay, so now we're voting on rezoning the 8.94 acres to office CO, office commercial. Is there any more discussion on that amended ordinance? Second and final reading. Seeing none, will the clerk read a roll?
Mr. Bush?
No.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
No.
Dr. Waldman?
No.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Okay, that ordinance fails. Okay, so that new tax map number fails and doesn't apply, right? Okay.
You didn't give it a zoning.
Hmm?
You didn't give it a zoning.
We haven't given it a zoning, but it's still a new tax map number.
Correct.
Okay. Got it. All right. Second and final reading, or moving on, second and final reading of ordinance 2233 to amend the Irmo Town Code, Desperate Ordinances. Dr. Wallman, is there a motion for second and final reading?
So moved.
And is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Dr. Wallman?
I think this is self-explanatory.
Okay. And Mr. Sickinger? Okay. Any other comments? Any more comments? Okay, clerk, will you read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yes.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Okay. Is there a second, moving on, is there a second final reading of ordinance 2234? This is going to amend the zoning and land development section 6-1.3, subsection 11 from the Planning Commission. To allow bike racks with certain exemption. Is there a motion for second and final reading?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Okay. And Mr. Sickinger?
Yeah, I think there was some confusion last time on this, and I'm glad that it's been cleared up. The requirements around bike racks to particular kinds of businesses, not all, and ensuring that there's maneuverability in parking lots so that cars can get in and out. So I'm in favor.
Okay. Dr. Wall?
Basically, Mr. Sickinger has explained it, and I agree.
He has articulated it perfectly. Okay. Great. Any more comments? Seeing none, will clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yes.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Second and final reading, item D, second final reading of ordinance 2235. This is Irmo Town Code by adding Construction Board of Judgments Appeal. Is there a motion for second and final reading?
So moved.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Sickinger?
It's necessary, and I'm in favor.
Okay. Mr. Bush?
I agree with Mr. Sickinger.
Okay, I'd like to make an amendment to the ordinance. Well, Dr. Wallman gave me the wording for it. Would you like to make that amendment?
Certainly, I'd like to make an amendment to ordinance 2235, the section 8-51, membership of board. I'd like to change that to read, members of the Construction Board of Adjustments and Appeals shall be residents from the town of Irmo. Insert a period after the word Irmo. Strike the rest of that sentence, and then add, if a sufficient number of qualified in-town residents are not available for appointment, qualified members that reside within Lexington-Richland School District 5 may be appointed.
Okay, you made that motion. I'll give it a second. Is there any discussion on that amendment? Any discussion?
I think it's a fair compromise
Okay.
from my read.
Okay. I'm trying to appeal to the sense that this is a town of Irmo board, and I want us to exhaust every effort we can have to exhaust to ensure that there's town of Irmo members on a board making decisions on the town of Irmo growth. That's why I meant that appeal. Seeing no more discussion, will the clerk read a roll on the amendment to the second and final reading?
Mr. Bush?
Yes.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. That being done, now I'll make a motion we can continue on. And any more discussion on the amended motion? Clerk read a roll.
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. First, thank you. New business, first reading of ordinance 2236. Is there a motion for first reading of ordinance 2236? That's to amend our smoking in public places.
So moved.
And I'll second it. Mrs. Sickinger.
Yeah, kind of like our zoning stuff. This is updating a very old ordinance. It also allows us to clarify for vaping, and removes a grandfather clause that's no longer valid because there are no more businesses that originally applied to. And by doing this, we become a Palmetto certified smoke-free municipality.
I concur. So is there any other discussion? Seeing none, will the clerk read the roll on the
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
yes. Approval to use $25,000 in orchestra funds to sponsor a gun buyback program. This is a motion to approve. I'll make that motion to approve it. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And this is, what's happening is, as I mentioned in the opening prayer, this is not an ordinance to take guns away from people. I just want to do our part to get all the unused, unwanted guns off the streets if possible. A gun buyback program was done in Richland County, and they ran out of money in a short part of time. They only had I think they had $10,000 to do it, but they had a big success. They got a bunch of guns off the streets, and if we can do our part, and like I said, the amount of money that we're talking about using is not that much, but if we can do our part to help getting off unwanted weapons off the street, I think we're going to make our town even safer and even the area. Is there any more comments? Anybody?
Mr. Mayor? If the funds are not exhausted, what happens with the remainder?
It goes back to the orchestra.
The orchestra, okay.
Mr. Bush?
Yeah, out of curiosity, before we vote for this, how much do they pay for each gun?
Good question.
I can give you that answer if you'd like.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's somewhere, but
Do you know the answer?
Industry averages are around $400 some per gun by the time they do it. Chicago spent $1 million. We see how well that's working for them. This is a terrible idea. This is absolutely astounding to me that our entertainment venue is now in the gun business.
Entertainment venue?
Yeah, the orchestra.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know where this idea came from. Some kind of agreement or something behind, until a week ago, I knew nothing of this. And now we've got the orchestra buying guns back. I can tell you right now that I'll be thinking very hard about approving budgetary concerns for an entertainment venue that's going to buy back guns. If we want to have a gun buyback program, that's another story. But to run it through the orchestra, it boggles my mind. And I think it's very inappropriate.
Okay. Does it answer your question, Mr. Bush?
More or less. I was just wondering what we would actually pay.
Well, I don't know what the schedule is. If you have an idea, Chief, what did Richland County pay?
Is it?
Do you know?
I think it was 100 a gun, and I just saw where Atlanta police did this.
Okay, yes.
Last week, and it was 50 a handgun and $100 for a long gun.
Long gun?
So we just I spoke with the town administrator, Mr. Dennis, and that's kind of what we modeled off of.
Okay.
I might also add that 30%, oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Are you
Yeah, I mean, I was just wondering if this is something that could be done just literally just through the police department, the law enforcement side of it.
what do you mean done through it? They are doing it.
Understood, but the funding, I think Mr. Danielson makes a good point.
We'll talk about the funding in a second, but
Okay.
yeah, I got you. Dr. Wallman? Okay, Bill, you said?
Yeah, the average of these buyback programs, 30% of the guns bought back are junk. They're inoperable. They're 20 years old. The criminals are not going to come and give you their AR-15s or their 9mm or their 40 calibers. I challenge anyone to go ahead and do the research. It's pretty simple. I have a document here from the NBER, which is referred to by many of these articles that say this doesn't do a thing. And there's no proof that this cuts down suicides or cuts down crime. They can't do it. It doesn't do it. Again, that's the other side of it. My biggest issue, I can get behind the appropriate buyback if that's what we want to do, but not through the orchestra.
Okay. Let me clarify a couple of things. The orchestra is not doing a gun buyback program. The orchestra is using funds that they have in excess of the orchestra's success to fund this gun buyback program. The gun buyback program is being done by the Irmo Police Department and the Universal Outreach Church. Those are the two entities that are actually funding this thing or doing this event. The town of Irmo, since the town of Irmo basically owns the orchestra or runs the orchestra through the town funds, we're using funds from the orchestra to actually pay for this gun buyback program. Now, the chief is saying that the guns will be $50 and $100. I don't know what the actual, I thought it was a little more from Richland County when they did it. I think it was like 100 and 200 or something like that. I'm not sure. But, hold on a second. But what I was getting at is that this is not the orchestra running a gun buyback program. This is the town of Irmo doing that, okay? The orchestra is using funds from the orchestra to do it because they have the excess funds to accomplish it. It's not the orchestra running a gun buyback program. It's the Universal Outreach Church and the town of Irmo Police Department. Yes, Mr. Bush.
Ms. Wallman pointed out that it is in the packet that it's $50 a handgun and $100
Well, I'm saying that's the actual number is, it is what it is. I mean, if it's going to be more or less, I don't know. That's the people are running it to decide what the amounts of the money is going to be. I don't know. I just know that they're going to attempt to get those unused, unwanted guns off the street, which will hopefully make our community safer, get things off the street that will make our kids a lot safer. So the kids don't pick a gun that doesn't work and bring it to school and end up getting thrown out of school. Mr. Danielson.
Yeah, again, if this not have anything to do with the orchestra, why is it in the motion? And then the bigger issue is, why did the Orchestra Commission approve it in their last meeting to spend the money if it wasn't from the orchestra? Doesn't matter where the money comes from, it's a shell game. We give them the money, they get the money. The money that's just a blanket to jump on this buyback program. And it clearly doesn't work. And it's $25,000 that we gave, or hospitality tax, or however you want to, wherever you want to move those funds on a general ledger account. It's $25,000 out of the orchestra. That tells me it's funded by the orchestra, which is funded by the town of Irmo, which is taxpayer dollars. And I don't think we should buy into this. If Richland County wants to do it, let them do it. But when I see the list of cities that do this, that they know it doesn't work, but they do it anyway because it's a dog and pony show. So the reality is, I don't want Irmo on that list with Chicago, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Boston, New York, the Bronx. I can go on and on. So again, I don't think we should be doing this, and it shouldn't have the orchestra anywhere near it. And then the second question is the outreach church. I'm not sure what their role is in this other than to have the physical location. Am I correct on that?
They're partnering with the town of Irmo IPD to do it at their location, right, at that church location. So your first point saying that it's a waste of time or it's not worth it, I definitely don't disagree with that. Anything we can do as a town to make our town a little more safer by getting unused, unwanted weapons off the streets. If it's a gun buyback program, if we exhaust the $25,000, then that means we've got a number of weapons that are not in circulation anymore. That's a positive thing for the community. If it's a situation where you're saying that having those weapons off the street is a waste of time and we don't want to be associated with it, you don't have to go to Chicago or Atlanta. You can go right here to Richland County. They did it, and they were successful. They exhausted the amount of the money that they had allocated to it within a matter of hours, I think it was. Now, as far as the quote-unquote, what you call a shell game, the orchestra funds are town funds. When we have the orchestra festival, the town is a backstop for that. So it's either take it out of our budget as a budgetary item, which we don't have as a budgetary item, or the orchestra has approved using $25,000 from their funds to do it. So that's not a unreasonable request or unreasonable suggestion.
Sure it is. You just said it. We don't have it in the budget. So we don't have it in the budget. We shouldn't be doing it. And the orchestra should be saving their money for next year's strut, not to buy guns back. And the reality is, it doesn't work.
Okay, you keep saying the orchestra buying guns. The orchestra is not buying guns back. It's the IPD and the Universal Outreach Church are doing this function. The orchestra is simply using the funds that they have made in excess of what their successful event was to fund this. It's not, the orchestra's not buying anything. They're not taking these guns and going down to Atlanta and selling them on the street afterwards. This is IPD project.
We could argue this all night, but the bottom line is the orchestra should not be anywhere related to a taxpayer-funded program that is not in the budget of the town, that is not something we agreed to do from the get-go. And we could argue all night, but I'm not going to do that. So,
well, I'm not arguing about it. Any more comments about this? Anybody else? Dr. Wallman, you've been quiet. Eric, you've been.
Yeah. So I was not aware of the controversy surrounding this. When I saw it on the agenda, I figured it would be pretty straightforward. That said, I wasn't aware of the research from NBER prior to tonight. I found it. Thank you.
I didn't see it.
Oh, sure. I'll share that if you don't mind. I know that this might be water that the apolitical office of the police department might not want to wade into. And certainly I'd be amenable to you giving it a pass. But is it your opinion, Chief, that gun buybacks have a net benefit to the community or not?
I don't really have a basis for comparison, but I can tell you that speaking with Sheriff Lott, he's prepared to have a team there to help us organize it. I talked to him earlier this afternoon, told him, hey, I'm probably going to have some questions coming from my council this evening. Anything you can tell me? And he said 2 words, it works. And this is the sheriff that's on the news every week talking about gun violence and murders and everything else. So I respect him in that aspect, and I would hope it works. I kind of look at it like you have a police car that drives down Lake Murray Boulevard. Somebody's thinking about robbing a bank. They see the blue and white Irmo police car, and they leave. Is that a deterrent? Is that because we're on patrol? I don't think we can put our finger on that, but I would hope it works, to answer your question.
Any more comments? Seeing none, the clerk read the roll.
Mr. Bush.
No.
Mr. Danielson.
No.
Mr. Sickinger.
Yes.
Dr. Waldman.
Yes.
And Mayor Walker.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for the spirited debate. I appreciate it very much, everything that was said tonight. Anything we can do to help the town, help the citizens, help the community is a positive thing. First reading, where was I at? Approval to upgrade the AV equipment in town. As you know, we're having issues with our cameras up here. We're not able to show whoever's at the podium. There's been also some audio-visual volume problems throughout the town, and I guess Chief, as the administrator, has intimated in the briefing exactly the things that we're going to be addressing with it. I know it's a lot of money, but it's something we need to do. When's the last time we upgraded this thing? It's been at least 10 years, right? Yeah. And that TV's working now. What?
It goes in and out.
Oh, okay.
It's got a problem with the right corner screen.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Okay. So, with that being said, I make a motion to approve it. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any more discussion about it?
Yeah, I just want to note that I passed this to some folks in my world of technology that service and sell this kind of stuff, and they said the price seemed fair and reasonable, so I'm in favor.
Any more discussion? Dr.
Yeah.
Wallman?
Yes. Will this equipment upgrade put us in a position to be able to do live streaming and teleconferencing? Thank you.
Any more discussion? Bill?
Will we be able to group Zoom from this?
Yeah, that's my understanding. It just comes with a new software package.
I didn't hear that.
Which is what you've been wanting to do for a long time, the group Zooming, like if
Yeah,
we all
yeah,
can't
yeah.
be here, this will enable us to do that? Okay.
Okay. Any more comments? Any more discussion? Seeing none, will clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Item D, approval to accept a grant in the award an amount of $27,373 from Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation for 12 AED, that's automated external defibrillators for the police department. It's a 100% grant. Is there I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second. Oh, you get it.
Nope, hands off.
I'll second.
Mr. Bush, okay. This is a good thing. You know, we have the top-notch police department that when they are Johnny on the spot, when they're there, they don't just show up to arrest the bad guys, they assess the situation. And if I'm having a heart attack or something like that, I'm glad to know that they have an AED available that can keep me ticking until I get to the hospital. And I'm more than happy to, I'm glad y'all applied for the grant, and I'm glad y'all got it, and I'm glad to have this available to all the police officers that are on patrol. And that'll be all the police officers, right?
It won't be all. It will be about a third of them. There will be at least one, maybe two on each shift that's working.
Okay.
And this 12, one of the 12 would be in this building. So
Oh,
we'll always
okay.
have one in the building as well here.
So if I have a heart attack at council meeting, y'all can
We'll
knock
hook
me
you up.
back. You might want to. Any more comment? Any more? Mr. Bush, you have any?
Yeah, so one will be here. Are there going to be some in car?
There are, yes.
Okay.
And the officers that will have them will be properly trained and everything.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
I'm sorry.
do we have any of these now, and how many do we have?
We have 0. This has been something that
We don't have these.
we do not. We've been talking about it for a few years now. We've seen some success stories in other agencies where an officer will get to a scene before a paramedic can, and they're able to hook that up, and it works. So
Would it work better than a gun purchased back? Just asking.
Once for yes, twice for no.
That's a yes, right?
You said it would work better than a gun purchase buyback? A defibrillator?
Can you catch bullets?
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll use it after the funeral.
I think it would work just like most of our tools. I mean, you saw where our guys used tourniquets and saved a gentleman's leg, maybe his life, but it's just another tool for our officers. So.
When you don't have the when you don't have the unwanted gun on the street, I think it'd be another tool in the arsenal. So, any more comments? Anybody else? Will the clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Okay, approval to cancel the December 6th, 2022 workshop. That's the workshop that'll be held after the tree lighting event on December 6th. November 29th is still an alternate workshop date if we needed to do one. But at this point in time, in this part of the year, I see our workshops getting less and less, so I think we could successfully cancel that workshop based on everything we got going on December 6th. I make that motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I certainly am in favor of not having the workshop on December 6th, but there are a lot of things and a lot of work for us to do, and I would prefer to still have a workshop. And when I saw that was on the agenda and I found out that we have some other times available, I would be in favor of November 29th. So I'm going to go ahead and I guess it's not an amendment. I guess it is. Amend from cancel to move the December 6th workshop to November 29th.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Moved and properly second. Is there any more discussion on that? Seeing none, we'll
I-
put, oh, I'm sorry.
I agree
Go
with
ahead,
Mr.
Barbara.
Sickinger. If we cancel the December workshop, we'll go for 3 months without a workshop scheduled. Because we will, I think, be canceling the one in January as well because of the timing relative to New Year's.
Wait,
So-
if we cancel the December 6th?
If we cancel December 6th and don't reschedule it for November, then we will go for a 3-month
you.
period without any workshops.
That's not good.
6th, December 3rd. I thought we canceled December 3rd, January 3rd. I thought, did we put that on the agenda yet? I didn't think so. What, how,
It seems likely that it may get canceled because of the proximity to the holiday.
we can move it to the 10th,
And
January 12th, right? I mean, we could, right?
we could.
Okay,
I support Mr. Sickinger's amendment.
no worries. Okay. You got me confused. Mr. Bush, you have any?
Are we having a regular meeting in December?
Yes.
Third Tuesday?
Yeah, 20th.
I would make a motion to amend it then to have it earlier, like if we could swing it early, like before the meeting, like maybe, no, okay.
You can still,
I make a motion and no second.
Bill, any comments? None? Bill, you have, okay, so we had an amendment to the 29th. Clerk, read a roll on that amendment, please.
Mr. Bush?
Yes.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Okay, the 29th it is, so we're gonna cancel the December, I guess we just did, cancel the 6th and moved it to the 29th. Is that understood? Courtney, we got that? Do we have to vote on that?
Yeah, now we have to vote now.
Okay. Clerk, will you read a roll on the amended date, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
To say yes.
No.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Courtney, got it? Okay, thank you. Irmo, discussion item, we have one, discussion of our new flag. Mr. Sickinger,
Yeah.
we are working on this diligently to have it ready before the tree lighting and the town birthday party.
That's right, Mr. Mayor. And so we've received a number of submissions, and the reason why I think this is important enough to bring to a council meeting is it does represent the town. It could certainly be on all of our official vehicles and all of our stuff that we put out. It'll be the logo could potentially even be on our shirts, as Councilman Bush is wearing today. So based on the submissions that we've received, it was the consensus of the folks in the flag committee that they were not official seal flag worthy. And so the decision was made that during a rebranding work with a local group that would be wrapped up in that. Mia, am I saying that about right? Because I know you were leading the charge on that. I got a thumbs up from Mia.
We could skip presentation by citizens, not that anybody has something.
Thank you, Councilman Bush. That's fine. Yeah.
We'll see, you don't mind. Do you have it on yours? Oh, I guess we do. I did. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. All right, let me go back. Do you mind if I go back?
My point stands, so we can
Courtney, why is it not on my agenda that I printed off? It's on this one it's not on mine, so. Okay. we'll discuss it afterwards. Presentation by citizens. Anybody want to speak on anything we talked about tonight? Oh, you do? Come on. Look at this.
These things before, but I just wanted to speak a little bit too. I actually came for a different topic, but just going back to the gun buyback thing here, which I think created a lot of ire here, at least among the board, it seems like. But historically, just want to make a comment that all these funds, right? I mean, it matters. A lot of things are underfunded, and so it kind of matters where monies go. Historically, these have not been very successful as far as being efficacious in what we're defining as success, which is lowering crime and things like that. I read a couple articles there just real briefly when this came up. It looks like they got 128 guns. They paid 100 for pistol, 250 for rifle, and they didn't run out of money. They ran out of gift cards, about $12K. But by comparison, last year, October, in the same place, we had 1,300 guns reported stolen. The vast majority of guns that are used in crimes are usually these stolen guns, often stolen out of vehicles and things when you pick them up. And so that's just one consideration, is that far more of these, are being stolen. So this is kind of a drop in the bucket, right? We're kind of paying people for buckets of water out of Lake Murray, to empty the water. It's probably not very efficacious. Other thing is we sell more guns in Richland County by far every day between Palmetto State and everything else than we'd ever buy back in this. So when we're trying to decrease a volume of guns with a buyback, it may not be an efficient use of funds, no matter where it comes from, Oakstrut or otherwise. So anyway, just a thought. All right, thanks, guys. Oh, Nathan Davis. So, thanks, guys.
Okay, anybody else? Nobody else? Okay. Now.
That's all right. No, it's, I see how it was not on the main
Hey, I'm
sheet. So,
telling you, here's my agenda, and I don't have it on here, so
It's all right.
I should have known that, but we'll discuss why my agenda is different from your agenda after the meeting, but we'll continue on.
so my point stands, my point still stands, and I think, Mayor, I think you had spoken with with Fully Promoted and talked to them about
Well, again,
some
this
of the
is
options.
what I wanted something to
Yeah.
look at.
Yeah.
Personally, I like item D, was it D and E? Just take the town of Irmo part off of it. The town of, I think it's D and E, right? Yeah, take the town of Irmo off of it, but,
So I'm generally in favor of, all of that stuff. I don't think the council needs to be voting on creative stuff. And there's no argument here.
we need to have some.
We need to have something, and I think the question is if we can get proofs from the what's it called, rebranding. Thank you.
Rebranding.
If we can get proofs from the rebranding in time enough to get it over to Fully Promoted or another local place to print those up. And Mia's nodding her head yes.
Well, get it back and let us look at it,
And then either have consensus
when
or
we have to have a vote, or I'll call a special meeting to have a vote.
I don't think we would need to call a special meeting to have a marketing choice, frankly. Although I think the council can certainly weigh in on their opinions one-on-one with Courtney or Mia. Just because, we don't vote outside of a meeting, so, but just to give their feedback on.
As long as it gets done, I don't care.
I'm with you.
You know that. Any more discussion? So I'm going to vote that I like item D, option D, and regardless of what everybody says. Okay? Any more discussion? Seeing none, we'll move right on. Oh, can you pull up thank you. We don't have an executive session. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Thank you. The meeting is now adjourned.
You missed that six-pack by 5 minutes.
It wasn't my fault, man. Oh.